After establishing your y value, which you're trying to predict, next you want to establish your x values, your inputs that you're going to use to make that prediction. Now in this particular case, we're trying to predict the casual. You don't want to include the columns after, you don't include both of them, the registered and the count, because you just subtract those to get the casual. It's not interesting. If you think about it practically, you wouldn't know, say, before a day happens, how many registered users and total users you will have. Okay, that doesn't make sense. You've got to think about this in terms of real predictions. By default, you generally want your x values to be like everything, and then think about what you want to eliminate. So it's good to have all this info in the middle. I think, the instant is like, it's going through time one after the other. And I think it makes sense to leave this one out. This is in effect like an index. You could use it. Again, think about things in terms of mathematical models. You don't want it to be like more important if it's 366 days from now versus 1 day from now in terms of the predictions, but they will be very different in a mathematical model. So I think we can eliminate this instant. So let's start with a straightforward X, which would be starting with this season column and going all the way up to the wind speed. Okay, so let's look at how to establish that. So we want to establish capital X and its df. We can use .lock here. And for .lock, recall we use the actual column name. So it's rows, comma, columns, all rows. You always want all the rows, okay, in machine learning. The more data, the better. And then we were starting with, what column was it? We'll check back up. I believe it was season, right? And so we can say season. And we'll go all the way up to, and including, because .lock will include the wind speed column, okay? And so what we're not doing here is we're not like, well, I think this column, like wind speed, might be good, where it's humidity, maybe not so much. No, if it could have an influence, you just want to use it. Let the machine learning model try to figure out how valuable the column is. Okay, and that should do it. And then we want to definitely verify this, especially since we're using a .lock. So let's run the code, check it out. And you can see this is what you want. We have a reduced X. It's a reduced data frame. I mean, it's our defined X from season to wind speed. And so we have now established an X and a Y that could work for machine learning. I will just add in this final note, which is, you want to choose X, and it's the input of your ML model. Input columns, you could say. All right. So once you have that, your X and Y established, no null values, all numerical columns, you're ready for machine learning.